Cheers. Located in the foothills of the Patagonian Andes, within the picture-perfect Nahuel Huapi National Park, San Carlos de Bariloche is one of Argentina's most important and beautiful tourism hotspots. Sitting on the shores of the enormous Nahuel Huapi Lake and surrounded by lush forested hills and towering mountains, it's the perfect year-round holiday destination, with Argentine and foreign tourists flocking here in both summer and winter. In winter, nearby Cerro Catedral is the largest ski resort in South America, and in summer, hiking, biking, and water activities take center stage. We spent a couple of weeks in Bariloche and explored plenty of its nearby hiking trails, drove the gorgeous Seven Lakes section of Argentina's famous Ruta 40, and wandered around the many picturesque Swiss-style towns and villages.
If you're new here, we're Kitty and John, and we'd love to travel and experience new cultures. Whether we're exploring our own backyard in the UK or relaxing on pristine beaches of Mexico, our passion for travel never seems to fade. Recently, we've been spending much of our time in South America, have really fallen in love with the continent. So make sure to subscribe if you'd like to see more content from this beautiful part of the world.
With its Swiss-style architecture and chocolate shops on every corner, you'd be forgiven for thinking you'd stumbled into a European alpine town. The center of Circuito, the city's main square, is probably the best example of this, with a distinctly alpine feel to the design of the town hall. However, the main street through the city is also full of wooden structures housing everything from alpine-style restaurants to souvenir shops, and of course, countless chocolate shops. But really, if you manage to walk the entire length of Mitre Street without buying a single piece of chocolate at all, you have a seriously strong will.
Once you're done shopping, you should also take a stroll down to the waterfront, where you can either relax on the city's small beach, take photos with the Bariloche sign, or walk out along the pier and take in the incredible scenery around you. As for where to stay in Bariloche, we recommend keeping yourself quite central. The city is kind of built on a slope. We actually ended up staying quite high up, which meant hiking down to the center was fine, but then the walk back was a little bit of a slog sometimes. Of course, if you have your own vehicle or a hired car like we did, then it's easy to base yourself a little bit outside of the center for a bit more of a peaceful stay. And if you want to splurge a little bit, then you can even stay at the world famous Xiao Xiao Hotel and Resort, which we're going to visit later in the video, but didn't have the budget to stay at.
Outside of the town itself, in order to see everything that the area around Bariloche has to offer, you're going to need to either take tours or hire a. We personally love the freedom that hiring a car gives you, and a lot of times it actually works out more affordable for us as a couple to do that than to take tours. So we rented a car for 4 days and set out to explore as much of Nahuel Huapi National Park as we could. One of the most popular and easy routes you can do from Bariloche is the Circuito Chico, an approximately 25-kilometer loop around the lakes to the west of the city. This circuit is filled with viewpoints, hiking trails, and other attractions, and is a great introduction to the national park.
The first point of interest we came to after beginning the loop was the Paraquia San Eduardo, a beautiful timber and stone chapel sitting on a hilltop overlooking the Xiao Xiao Hotel and the harbor, where you can take boat tours out to the lake from. It's worth a quick stop before you head over to the nearby Xiao Xiao Hotel and Resort. This gorgeous 5-star hotel is one of the icons of Argentine Patagonia, and staying here would certainly be a memorable experience. You can enjoy spa facilities, a golf course, and many other activities. Even if you don't have that kind of money to spend, you can walk around outside the hotel to take pictures of the building itself and enjoy the incredible views that you get of the surrounding lakes.
As we mentioned, there are many hiking trails dotted around the Circuito Chico, and the first one we came to was the Sendero de los Arayanes, just after passing the Xiao Xiao Hotel. We are definitely ready for this. This is the first hike we've done since Colorado, I think. Our whole time in Mexico, we were just in cities. Uruguay was all cities, and the start of our Argentina trip was all kind of cities up until Iguazu, but those weren't really hikes. It was just kind of being a little bit out in nature. Today we're finally getting to do some actual hikes. We're going to do maybe a loop, maybe just a there and back, we're not sure yet. The nice part about this forested area that we're currently walking through is that it is sheltered from the wind, because so far this morning the wind has been incredibly strong. Makes the chill factor go down by like 10. It's not so bad out the wind, but when the wind blows, it's very cold. Back in your element now in the outdoors.
Fine.
Finally, no more cities.
I know. We were definitely getting sick of cities.
One too many.
Yeah.
It's fine now. It's all good. We're in Patagonia.
The initial trail took us down to the Bosque de Arayanes, a small path that circles through some very cool-looking arayan trees, which are native to the central Andes between Chile and Argentina. Some of these trees look very old and gnarly. Then the path continues along through the forest, following the lake, with a few different viewpoints scattered along it.
It's a nice spot. We found our picnic spot for the day. Pretty impressive. It would just stop raining. Got a little friend who is after our sandwiches. So I decided to do this circular walk in the end just because we had walked so far down the initial trail that going back and then going to do the other trail that we wanted to do, it would have been just as long. We've got to walk along the road for a little bit and then we're going to circle back around, hopefully stopping at another viewpoint where we get to see a good overview of the area. They do say not to walk through these trails when it's like super windy. You can clearly see why. Branches and debris everywhere. Pretty windy today, but this sort of destruction would be from some pretty insane gusts, I think. I don't know if you can see on the camera how much these trees are moving in the wind. It's a lot. They're making a lot of noise. I've just got to get through here quickly, I think. So this is the split where you can go up to Cerro Catedral. You're supposed to get some really amazing views from there, but we're just conscious today with the weather as it is. We're not going to see very much. We're also conscious of the time. We've still got a lot to pack in on this Circuito Chico. Of course, the last 2 days have been absolutely gorgeous and clear weather. You can see all the mountain tops. Today we hire a car.
Welcome to Patagonia, I guess.
Unfortunately, the wind did start to pick up even more as we continued around the height, to the point where it did feel a little unsafe. So we ended up just doing a really fast walk through the trees back to the car.
After getting back to the car, we hopped in and drove around the rest of the circuit, stopping at some of the viewpoints along the way. However, along with the wind picking up, the clouds had settled in as well, making visibility pretty poor, so we decided to give up on any further hikes or viewpoints for the day. To cheer ourselves up, we headed to the Patagonia Cerveceria. Patagonia is a popular lager and draft beer company across the south of South America, and here they have a large beer garden where you can sample some of their best IPAs and lagers. It was kind of a nice way to end a slow and a disappointing day, and during this time we promised that we will try to do Circuito Chico again in nicer weather.
As you can see, the weather is much better today than yesterday.
For now.
For now, yeah, it's supposed to cloud over a little bit in the afternoon. We're going to be driving along the Ruta de Siete Lagos, which is one of the more famous sections of the Ruta 40, which goes all the way down the length of Argentina. It's supposed to be just a beautiful drive, full of like lake views, beautiful little towns and stuff. Very excited to do that.
We first had to drive around the enormous Nahuel Huapi Lake, the first of the 7 lakes along the route. There's a nice viewpoint called Mirador del Lamay as you come around the very end of the lake, where you get gorgeous views back down the lake towards Bariloche and the snow-capped Andes mountains behind. Then we drove all the way along the northern edge of the lake, admiring the views from the road and stopping at a few more viewpoints before arriving in the town of Villa La Angostura. This resort town is smaller than Bariloche, but has many similar features, from its alpine-style wooden buildings to its many artisan and souvenir stores, and of course its abundance of chocolate shops. We spent about an hour or so browsing the shops along its main street before heading back to the car and continuing our drive north.
So the Ruta Siete Lagos is called that for a reason. We're going to be hopefully seeing at least 7 lakes during our trip up to San Martin, and this is lake number 2. Lago Espejo, after the lake where Bariloche is, the massive lake that we're staying around. Such a different day to yesterday so far. Getting a bit cloudier, but as long as the clouds stay up high, we're all good. Just so much clearer. You can see all the way out to the mountains.
There are 2 viewpoints of Lago Espejo, one on the southern end of the lake, just off the main 7 lakes route, which we personally felt was the better one, and one as you drive north along the east edge of the lake. A short drive further along, we arrived at the north end of our 3rd lake, Lago Correntoso, and got another beautiful view from the lookout point. The road then wound north through forested hills for a while before we arrived at our fourth lake, Lago Escondido. Escondido means hidden in Spanish, and this name is quite appropriate given the lack of a view at the viewpoint. Lake number 5 is Lago Vicharino, and then we arrived at Lago Falconer, probably our favorite lake and spot along the Seven Lakes route.
Certainly didn't think I'd be standing on a beach today. We've got a nice sandy beach here, beautiful lake, and then a little bit of snow up on the mountains up there. Place is a crazy contrast of different things. The water isn't even too cold. The wind's a lot lower today, so it feels very nice. 10 times better than yesterday. Look how beautiful this is.
Before arriving at our last lake, we stopped quickly at the Vullanyanco waterfall, which provided a nice change of scenery to all the lake views. Then, the 7th and final lake before finishing the Seven Lakes route was Lago Machonico, with another scenic viewpoint to enjoy. Finally, we descended into the town of San Martin de los Andes, which technically borders an 8th lake, Lago Lacar, and began to explore. San Martin is again very similar to Bariloche and Villa La Angostura, with wooden and alpine-style buildings housing restaurants, souvenir shops, and artisan stores. There's a nice beach and waterfront area, and we enjoyed stretching our legs and browsing through the souvenir stores along the main street again. After a tasty ice cream in town, we headed back to the car and made the long drive back to Villa La Angostura.
So I think we found the perfect spot to finish our Ruta de Siete Lagos. We passed through Villa La Angostura this morning, and we didn't come down to the pier area, the port area this morning, so we thought this would be a good place to just finish our road trip. Look at this place. Beautiful beach, mountains, really gorgeous spot to end the day. We decided day 3 that we were going to come and redo the small circuit, the Circuito Chico, because the first day we did it was just, as you saw, a bit of a failure with the weather. Absolutely gorgeous. It's supposed to be nice all day, and we're starting the day with this hike up to Campañero viewpoint, which is supposed to be one of the best views in the whole of Bariloche, but the hike has started off very steep.
As you can hear from our breathing, but it'll be nice to do some hiking now. So there are 2 ways you can get up to the viewpoint. First of all, you can do what we do and hike up. It's a good 35-minute hike. Or if you don't want to do that, you can take the chairlift up too. We'll check the price when we come down because it's not open yet. We try and get up before everybody else.
We saw the tour buses parked outside the chairlift on the way to do the Circuito Chico on the first day, and there was a lot of them. And that was at like just after 9 o'clock. So it gets very busy in the morning. I think that morning is the best time to do it because the sun is in the best place. Oh my goodness. Wow. Look at this. Aw, Poos Poos. You're so cute. Wow. Look at this incredible view.
You know what really reminds me of these lakes? What's happening in Colombia?
It's very similar. Yeah.
Like the lakes and the greenery. So beautiful.
Wow, that is stunning. So this is the Circuito Chico that we did the other day. It goes all the way around here, around and back across this bridge. I'm pretty sure it was this lake that we walked around on the first day, but it's definitely a better view from here. And the perk of walking up here before the chairlift opens is that we are the only people up here right now. It's gonna get a lot busier later on in the day. Right now it's all for us.
And the puss.
And the Poos Poos.
It's 9:20. It's a little bit different now.
We've been here 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Despite the crowd, we stayed up a little bit longer to soak in the incredible views for as long as possible. Then we quickly descended the hill down the same trail, got back in the car and drove back onto the Circuito Chico, with our first stop being a second attempt at the Cerro Catedral hike that we missed out on during our last visit.
We decided that since we really didn't do it properly last time, we're going to start from where we exited the walk last time out and hike back up to the very top this time to see what the view is like on a nice clear day when the trees aren't trying to kill us.
It was scary.
Yeah, it was.
And the trail was closed by the time we arrived back. It was unsafe.
Made it back to the turnoff. Let's actually go climb this hill this time. The difference today is really night and day.
So quiet. There's no wind, nothing.
Much better. Whew, made it. Another absolutely incredible viewpoint, almost as good as the other one we were at with the chairlift. And this one, obviously, because you have to hike all the way up, way less tourists, way less tour groups, and you have the whole sort of view to yourself.
It was hard to bring ourselves to leave this beautiful viewpoint, but eventually made our way down and drove a little further along the loop to Lago Escondido, where there's a nice little wooden pier for enjoying the lake views. If you walk a little further from there, you can get to Bahia de los Troncos, which is a gorgeous and very quiet beach that made for a perfect lunch. We stopped at a few more of the viewpoints that we had either skipped or not had any views from the last time, and finished the Circuito Chico at easily the most impressive viewpoint you can drive to around the loop. The Punta Panoramica is true to its name and provided a panoramic view of all the lakes we just had driven around, as well as the Andes Mountains in the distance and the Chow Chow Hotel in the foreground.
We ended the day by heading off the main circuit to a small village called Colonia Suiza, which, as the name suggests, has a distinctly Swiss feel to it. This village was the first European settlement in the region, founded in the late 19th century by Swiss immigrants. It's maintained its original characteristics and charm over the years, and has become a very popular attraction for those visiting Bariloche. It's a very small place, so you only really need an hour to see everything, but you could easily spend a lot longer there, just browsing through the souvenir stores, grabbing something tasty to eat at one of the many restaurants or ice cream places around the food court, or taking too many pictures of all the colorful and unique looking houses. We had a fun time there and would definitely recommend adding it as a stop on your Circuito Chico loop.
So it's our last day of having the car, and we're not really sure what to do today, to be honest. We've sort of like done the main Ruta de Siete Lagos. We've done the Circuito Chico twice because of the weather. Today we were thinking of driving a little bit down the road to El Bolson. Nice. Just seen a take care Puma sign. Puma. Come to Lago Gutierrez, which is one of the other lakes around Bariloche, and there's a very short hike you can do, just a kilometer up to a viewpoint, 500 meters to some waterfalls.
We arrived at the small, still very pretty Cascada de los Duendes first. It was nice to be there early, as we didn't really see anybody else on the trail until much later when we were descending back to the car. We enjoyed the waterfalls for a while and then continued climbing up to the Lago Gutierrez viewpoint.
So this is Lago Gutierrez here, and then Bariloche is over there, and then up here Cerro Catedral, which is the ski resort and mountain. You won't see it on the camera, but you can see the chairlifts here. So in the winter it's a big ski resort.
After descending from the viewpoint, we decided to drive down Route 40 a short way and ended up finding this great little spot along Lago Mascade. The water was crystal clear and the snow-capped mountains provided a stunning backdrop. Plus, other than a few locals, we were the only ones there, and we felt like we'd discovered a secret little spot away from the main tourist hotspots.
The final activity we wanted to do in Bariloche was a day hike up to a refugio in the mountains. This is an easy trail to access without a car, as there is a semi-regular bus that goes from Bariloche to Cerro Catedral, where the trailhead starts from.
So this is going to be the longest hike of our stay here in Bariloche.
Probably the coolest one too.
We're hiking up to a place called Refugio Frey. It's about 18 kilometers there and back. For the most part, I think it's fairly gradual, fairly flat, just hugs the mountain.
It's really the last couple of kilometers, kind of the steepest part.
But it's a beautiful day. It's going to get up to like 30 degrees again.
It's gotta be hot.
So this sign's saying like 9.5 kilometers one way, and it should take about 4 hours between December and April. See if that's correct.
Eating lunch at the top.
Usually we do it a little bit faster than the signs say. One thing to note about these treks is that it is mandatory to sign like a registration form before you complete any of the hikes in this national park. There's no cost or anything. You have to do an online form before you do the hike. There's not like a person waiting at the entrance to get you to sign a form. It's all done online. Simple process, took like 5 minutes. You get an email just confirming that you've done it. And then I guess it's just in the system so that they know who is out trekking on any particular day. So this is Lago Gutierrez, and I'm pretty sure this is the mirador we were on the other day, that last day where we had the car, just up here, because we could see the ski resort up here, and we were looking out back towards Bariloche that way. We're about 4 kilometers in to the 9.5 kilometer route to get to the Refugio. So far it's been pretty steady. We're just hugging the mountainside all the way along. Got beautiful lake views out to our left. We started to hike up to this pass now. Obviously it's starting to get a lot steeper. Through the woods though, thankfully. It's a bit of shade right now, which is nice. Definitely a lot tougher section of the hike. One hour to go. Just reached this other little refuge before Refugio Frey, built into this rock here. Very tired, I don't know, I'm struggling today.
It is one of those days.
Sometimes you just don't feel it, you can't catch your breath. Almost there, and it'll be a lot easier on the way down.
Made it.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Yes.
Very beautiful.
In the end, the hard hike up was worth the effort, with the Refugio sitting next to a beautiful glacier lake surrounded by jagged mountain peaks on all sides. It's popular to camp up at the Refugio, especially if you want to trek further into the mountains, and a lot of climbers come up to scale the nearby rocks. We made our way down to the shore of the lake and sat down for a well-needed lunch with a spectacular view. The hike down in the 30-degree heat, especially the section that hugs the side of the mountain along Lago Gutierrez, was brutal, and we definitely recommend avoiding such heat when doing this hike.
Oh man, when will it end?
As we said at the start of the video, Bariloche is one of the #1 tourist destinations in all of Argentina, and we think you'll agree after watching this video that there is a very good reason why. It definitely became our favorite location in Argentina so far, and we were very grateful that we got to spend a whole 2 weeks there enjoying the amazing scenery. It's also somewhere we definitely consider going back to in the winter to experience it in a whole new way and from a whole different perspective. We hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, consider hitting that like button as it really helps out our channel. And don't forget to subscribe for more content from around Argentina and the whole of South America. We also have a travel blog where we go into way more detail about all the locations featured in our videos. If you'd like any more information about anywhere that you've seen, make sure to head on over using the link in the description. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you right back here in Argentina on the next one.